Word travels in space the way warmth travels through a winter house, slowly, thoroughly, arriving most strongly where hands are close. By the time Halcyon woke, ships were gathering at the sea's edge, Imuli sculptures with their elegant ribs, mermarch clouds carrying travelers in cool embrace, Tellel glass gardens, even a few thorn-of-day vessels with their pride folded small and kept like a knife in a pocket. Noor did not take command. She took position, first among many, close enough for others to read her wake, far enough that no one mistook her role. "We are not guides," she told the crew. "We are neighbors who went ahead to see if the path could bear the weight of us all." The first convoys passed as practice. Lantern after lantern accepted their careful steps. The hush made no protest. Now and then it nudged. Here a gentle slowing to let a mermarch split. There a smoothing so a Tellel garden's glass would not sing itself into cracks. The Leviathan watched, and each time someone found a new courtesy, it absorbed the lesson and offered it forward as a small easing. Along the corridor's edges, those who had once profited from fear tried to set up tolls. The hush did not break them. It made them irrelevant, the way a well-lit street makes a pickpocket reluctant to ply their trade. Travelers chose the lantern path because it felt better, not because anyone threatened them into it. Saya curated the habit book into a harbor book, a living record of gestures that made the corridor kinder. She kept it plain, without signatures, so no one could hoard the prestige of a good idea. A Kython contributed a rhythm for celebratory speed that did not wake the hush. A mermarch added a spacing that let many be many without becoming loud. Even the Thorn of Day wrote a page on pride that bends so it doesn't break the road. Micah tended the lanterns like seedlings. He taught the Kython how to build their own from spare parts and goodwill. He showed the thorn how to test a lantern's patience by offering it a mistake and reading how it forgave. Rowan recalibrated offsets as Newhalls learned the dance. Nor did what captains do when the ship sails itself for a while. She walked among neighbors and listened for cracks no instrument could register. At the fourth gate, a child from the Tellel Gardens, wide-eyed behind a pane of protective glass, pressed her hand to the window as Halcyon slid by. On the other side of the pane, a human palm met it and rested there, two travelers greeting without words. That was the moment Noor decided the corridor was not a project anymore. It was a place. Not everything was simple. A coalition of freighters argued with a cluster of mermarch over who had right-of-way at a junction. The Leviathan refrained from deciding for them. It held the hush steady while they solved being neighbors. They did, clumsily, like all beginners. The solution they found was not elegant. It was decent. The hush accepted it. Months, if months were the unit, later, Halcyon turned homeward to share the harbor book with human ports and outlying stations. At the sea's mouth, the Thorn commander hailed Noor without titles. He said, "We have learned to carry our knives differently. We have also learned a thing we will not admit often, that belonging is a weapon none of us can parry." Noor smiled unseen. She said, "Belonging is not a weapon. It's what weapons want to be when they put themselves down." The Imuli elder, Ash of Wind, sent the Halcyon off with a sculpture that was not meant for display. Inside it, a memory threaded itself around a shape only hands could teach. Ash said, "Place this where your children wait out storms. Let them learn the patience of the hush without ever needing to be afraid of it." Back in human lanes, people asked what the Ecliptic Sea had been like. nor did not describe the gates, or the Leviathan's unseen hand, or the mechanics of lantern offsets. She told them about the quiet that makes room. She told them about the Kython who learned to celebrate without shouting, and the Mermarch who learned to be many side by side, and the Thorn who wrote about pride that bends. When Halcyon's crew slept that first night under familiar stars, the ship gently adjusted its own thermal profile out of habit. In the darkness, a small coil on the engineering deck pulsed at a slow rhythm, content. It did not light the room, it made the room kinder. Years from that night, travelers new to the sea would speak of a feeling at the first lantern, a calm that slid into their bones, a sense that the road they were entering had been built by hands that expected them to belong. They would not know Halcyon's name. They would not need to. If there was an achievement, it never learned the trap of a plaque. It lived where it should, in the way strangers met at a narrowing and found they were less strange than the hush had warned them to be. And if, at some late hour, a child asked a parent why the corridor never turned into a highway with tolls and horns, the answer would come as a story about lanterns that liked kindness better than power, and about a gatekeeper who listened so well that even old laws remembered how to make room. That story, told softly, would be enough to carry the child to sleep. The lanterns would keep their watch, the hush would keep its welcome, and the road across the Ecliptic Sea would remain what tired travelers need most at the end of a long day: a harbor